that order.
Better signify who it is.
It's out this way more than there. It's been pulled across on the rim. See that? See that tire's going across there? Yeah, but Wayne, see this tyre here? You're saying that tyre here, this tyre here has been pulled across there on the rim to this side here. The whole tyre's gone across there on the rim. They find the others the same. This tyre here now. Where's the time man? Where's the time man? Where's this? Put your car on, no, you're on about this. Sorry if I'm blinding you guys.
No, thanks a lot, we'll need it.
Makes a difference?
Thanks a lot, I can't, I just spend it here, so start the moment spend it. Standing in short circuit thing. Why? Got a long screwdriver there.
We'll struggle, that's it. Struggle. Plenty of struggle. Struggle cam here.
He's the guy, so he's got full control. He's got the big one up there as well. It's just for some car. I'm sorry, guys, I can't come down to your car. Who's the next right here? What's that doing now? It's Pfizer. I think we'll put an the car out here. She has four tires, but very much all
Very, very experienced drivers. The steward will be watching very, very closely. They had their work cut out when this similar field of most of these drivers were racing in the Australian Championship. I'd say at least 3/4 of these drivers were in that final. There were some incidences in there that took a little bit of looking at, and they get the green light as they go, and Bob Whirling swings a tail, and it's a bit of helter-skelter as they go into the first corner with Peter Jacobson, and it's going to be impossible to watch all cars, but Peter Jacobson with a good lead over Bob Whirling. And who's that coming through? Tanya Peacock in third place already. Spider McCarthy doing his usual trick on the outside of the field, and Paul Salou on the inside in about fourth place. We've also got John Summers, Tony Wilson, Max Carlin going round the outside, Lockie McClure up there with him, Ron Brady, and Graham Lang right at the rear of the field. Well, I'm not going to be able to call all cars as they go past, even if I can't pick them. So we'll concentrate on the leaders, and it's Peter Jacobson, the current Victorian #1, leading the field with Bob Wall from Lismore. Tanya Peacock, that's a car that only just got going, sitting there in third place. At the moment they're racing in almost the positions they started, excepting that Paul Salou has moved up into fourth place. Spider McCarthy back in fifth place, and he's a long way off the pace at this stage. The cars are spreading out right along. Oh, they've got one into the fence. That was Martin Horson. Martin Horson from Mildura has picked up the fence on the far side of the track, and that will be our first race stoppage. He got a little clip and went up wide on the track. Well, I don't know how the chief steward's going to watch all of them because I'm having all sorts of trouble. Martin Horson picked up the fence. There will be a restart. I would... Well...
I don't know it. I don't know, Alan, are you getting this?
Like the positions will remain pretty much the same. They will start in Indian file. This will bunch them up a little bit more because they were getting rather spread out, and they will spread out during the course of the race. We didn't lose any cars, I don't think, out of that. We should still have 20 cars. The red light's on to stop them and bunch them up. Out now. Paul Sheen's still hanging a long way back. That won't make the cars behind him very happy at all. Righto, he puts the foot down now. Come on, Paul, move up. They all, of course, want to be as close up there as they can get. And they're away now. It's Peter Jacobson in front. Bob Whirling, Tanya Peacock, Salou. That's a nice even start as they all take off in Indian file. And who's going to make the first move? Is Whirling going to make a move on Jacobson this early as they go around the Deacon Avenue corner? Try and cast an eye over the entire field, but it's Whirling behind Jacobson, Peacock, Salou, Spider McCarthy, and a lot of cars bunching up there. Tony Wilson right up there with them. There's a big gap opening up between the two fielders' cars of Bob Whirling and Tanya Peacock, opening up quite a gap. It's still Jacobson, Whirling, Peacock with Salou and McCarthy right behind. John Summers or Max Carlin, they're both in there somewhere with Tony Wilson. Car spreading out now, and that's Billy Reek just passing Meisner as they go past us. All the leading cars a little bit of trouble. A couple of bumps there as Whirling goes out wide, but I almost, you could almost say there might be a little bit of team racing going on down there. It looks a little bit suspicious that we've got Bob Whirling out there so far, and Tanya Peacock doing a great job in holding those other cars off. Well, maybe it's team racing, maybe it's not, but boy, it certainly looks that way. And Tanya Peacock has the ability to keep those cars back there, and she'll even take out a third place if she keeps this up. Well, the early cars are getting out fairly well, but we've got a bit of a bunch of cars coming through the pit corner now. I'm going to have to watch the leader so I don't lose them. Martin Hawson still is at the rear of the field. It's Peter Jacobson, Bob Whirling, a long way back to Tanya Peacock, Paul Salou, Peter McCarthy, Tony Wilson, Max Carlin, Lockie McClure from Broken Hill, 33 years, Trevor Mills, Rod Brady, Russell Hines, Paul Sheen, and we'll forget the others because the leaders are almost back here again. Once again, it's Jacobson and these two leading cars. Boy, are they driving well. And I can't say Tanya Peacock is holding the others back now because they're nowhere near her. There's a couple of cars like separating them. And it's Spider McCarthy trying to move up on the inside of Paul Salou. They're looking for about a fourth place. Back to the leaders, and now we've got some fun. We've got the leading car starting to pass the tail enders. That's Peter Jacobson, the current Victorian number one. He's got through. Bob Whirling, the New South Wales number one, has also got through past Martin Hawson. We're going to have some fun now as they come up behind Billy Reek. Billy Reek in car number 21. Jacobson goes around the outside, and Whirling. Martin Hawson not in it. He's the third car in Tanya Peacock. Then Paul Salou from Swanhill, Peter McCarthy, Max Carlin, Tony Wilson from Ballarat. Then a long way back is Lockie McClure, Trevor Mills. 26 is Rod Brady, Russell Hines, Paul Sheen, Bob Cochran in there somewhere. And I won't worry about the others because the leaders have just gone past again. If I'm not careful, I'm going to lose track of a lot of them. We've got Peter Jacobson at the moment. He's trying to go through about 4 slow cars all at once. This is where the interest starts to come into it. Can he get through those slower cars without causing a problem? Jacobson goes around the outside. It's Bob Whirling boxed in on the inside there of Warren Meisner. Jacobson gets through okay. I've lost track of the third car. I think there's the third car now, Tanya Peacock. And look at these third, fourth and fifth cars, and sixth and seventh as Paul Salou tries to go through underneath Tanya Peacock. Leading cars coming past again. Jacobson, Whirling. Forget about the next whole batch of cars, a whole lot of them. There's the third car, Tanya Peacock, Paul Salou, Spider McCarthy, Max Carlin, Tony Wilson from Ballarat. We've got a couple of separate races. I think we've got half an hour. And we've lost one of the corner. That's Graham Lang. Graham Lang's off the track. He spun off. And Billy Reek's in trouble. That almost held up the leaders. A lot of smoke came out of that car. I'm not sure whether he got a pump in the back or what happened there. There's the third, fourth, fifth and sixth cars. Let's go back and try and find the leaders as they come down the far side straight. It's a Victorian number one. Peter Jacobson. Come in. There's another car left the track on the other side. Peter Jacobson in first place. Bob Whirling still in second. Forget about that one and the next 3, 4. There's the third car, Tanya Peacock, Paul Salou, Max Carlin trying to go through on the inside of Spider McCarthy. Tony Wilson on their tail, looking to clear a little way back. The minor placings are going to get very, very scratchy. We won't know where they are. Car number 25, well and truly in the lead. Peter Jacobson, as he said, he's driving this race for his father, and I'll bet he wishes his father was there to watch him. He's a mile in front, and the only thing that's going to stop Peter Jacobson hanging on to that Victorian number 1 is maybe a bit of a problem with one of the slower cars. Now Bob Cochran doing the right thing. He moves out to let Bob Walling come through in car 51. And there's no cars between that first and second now, but an awful lot back to third place. There's Tanya Peacock. And who's in third place? I've lost track of them. Spider McCarthy's back there. Boy, there's a mix-up there as they try to get past the slow cars. That's Salou. Paul Salou goes out around Chris Waters. Spider McCarthy goes out around the slower cars. Let's have a look. This is the third one coming past. And Salou's dropped back. Carlin and McCarthy move in there, and Wilson. They're chasing about fourth placing, I think. Where's the leader? Here he comes now, 25. Peter Jacobson as they go past the broadcast box. Bob Walling in second place. We'll forget Bob Cochran in 58. And we'll forget Redmond and Reisner. And there's Tanya Peacock in among all those cars with Paul Salou right on the tail. Tony Wilson in a little bit of trouble back there. I think somebody might be going to get a flag. Who's going through on the other side? That's yes, Tanya Peacock I'm watching as Bob Walling went past here. Bob Cochran's way back. Redmond's way back. There's the third place getter and the fourth in Paul Salou. And Spider McCarthy is still just hanging on to fifth place. I think that's... not sure who that is. Somebody's got a warning by the look of it. There's the first car, 76, with a lot of slow ones to get past again. He's got a batch of 3 of them to get through there. Bob Walling not all that far behind him. The third car is a mile back. It's Tanya Peacock going past her. Half a lap behind first and second. Then it's Paul Salou. And then it's Spider McCarthy, Max Carlin. Tony Wilson wasn't there, but I think we might have lost him. And boy, look at Jacobson go around the outside. That youngster, he's not very old, in his mid-20s somewhere, driving the race of his life. We've lost Paul Salou. We've lost a heap of them. Paul Salou, Max Carlin, they're off the track. They've cleared the track. That's the sort of trouble I say. And that was Spider McCarthy who went with him. So McCarthy's got a flat tyre. Spider McCarthy is out of the race with a flat tyre. Well, he just doesn't seem to have any luck in these big races. Maybe now we'll get the car sorted out into some sort of order. I didn't quite see what happened, but we lost Salou and McCarthy on the corner. What a race. And are those leading cars moving? That's the third car going there. That was fourth and fifth that went out on that corner. Let's see what happens. I would hate to be the chief steward trying to sort that out. Billy Reek, he was right at the rear of the field. Here comes the leader now, Peter Jacobson. What a race he's driving. 47, Martin Horson. He's not in the placings. He was at the rear of the field. Lockie McClure, well, he's up there somewhere. Bob Walling is the second place getter. Let's put him in there. Third car at the moment, and this will be great for her because she was half a lap behind. Third place is Tanya Peacock. Then we had Paul Salou. I'm not sure who's going to get the nod for that little bit of a problem, or who's going to get the shake of the head. And whoa, a bit of hell driving as she goes through the middle. Tanya Peacock will take up her place. Third, Max Carlin moves in up there. I'm not sure if they all know where they're supposed to be. Spider McCarthy is out of the race, of course, with a flat rear tyre. And I can see Tony Wilson's car in the middle. I didn't think I'd seen him for the last. His car going fairly well. Trevor Mills there, Ron Brady, Paul Sheen at the rear of the field. Well, I was fairly impressed with the way those leading cars were getting through the tail enders. No problem to Jacobson and Walling whatsoever. The person to gain most out of this, of course, is Tanya Peacock. She was half a lap behind her. We've lost another car pulled out there. That's Max Carlin pulled out before the restart. Number 12 from Portland is out. So we're back to Jacobson in front. Bob Walling on the outside. Tanya Peacock right on his tail. Paul Salou, and then we get back to Lockie McClure. The winner will come out of these. And look at Walling trying to go around the outside of Peter Jacobson. It's Jacobson still holding a lead. A little bit easy to call now. Boy, look at that rush of cars going into the pit corner now. If there's going to be any action, that's where it will be. Max Carlin, well, I'm sure he already pulled off once. He just pulled off again. Maybe he decided he'd have another go. Look at Walling coming through on the inside of Jacobson, trying to force his way through. Oh, and Jacobson stuck the foot down. He stayed in front. I hope my voice lasts until we finish. It's Peter Jacobson, the Victorian #1, leading Bob Walling, the New South Wales #1. Jacobson still holds the lead. Walling starting to get determined. He knows this race is a long way through. There can't be terribly much of it left, and he knows he hasn't got all that much time now to work up on him. Although it is 40 laps, that's an awful long race. Bob Walling's going to take all sorts of risks now to try and get past Jacobson, because he'll never get past him. He just sits out. Tanya Peacock lost it for a minute. That dropped back. She didn't lose a placing. Paul Salou going to go around the outside. Well, she almost lost it. The tyre flipped out, and she lost about 20 or 30 metres in that little altercation with herself. Well, Peter Jacobson coming through the Deakin Avenue corner has a better lead over Walling now, but Walling closes up coming out of the corner. In third place still Tanya Peacock, and then Paul Salou and Lockie McClure. And there's a lot of cars being boxed up behind Martin Horson there, as we've got Trevor Mills, Rod Brady, Paul Sheen, Cochrane's in there somewhere, and one car I missed. These leaders are putting on one hell of a battle, and if Peter Jacobson makes the slightest slip, he's going to see Bob Walling sail past him. Tanya Peacock and Paul Salou again starting to drop a little way behind those leading two cars, and look at Walling go up on the outside. The power of these two cars seems to be fairly comparable. One draws away and then the other makes it up. Walling is determined to be able to get out the outside. The track getting a little bit dusty, but still looks in fairly good nick. The driver's handling it really well. No potholes appearing. There's no rough patches in the track at all from what I can see. They're going to start to pass some of those slower cars again very shortly. Billy Reek, I think it is, they're coming up on now. And they're still racing very, very closely. Let's have a look back here. It's Paul Salou still trying to get past Tanya Peacock, but boy, can this girl drive. Be nice to see a couple of the local ladies get up to that standard. And as we go past Billy Reek, the slower car, there comes Peter Jacobson. Let's hope these slower cars continue to get out of the way of the leaders. Peter Jacobson, Bob Walling, Tanya Peacock, Paul Salou, and Lockie McClure in that order. And I think these fellows might be the next place getters. Trevor Mills, Rod Brady, going back then Martin Horson on the rear of the field, and Paul Sheen in trouble as he goes down the straight sideways. And look at this, Walling is climbing all over the back of Peter Jacobson without actually touching him. He puts the nose down in front. Can he get through? There's only inches between the two of them as they come out of the pit corner down the far side straight into the Deakin Avenue corner. It doesn't take him terribly long to do a lap. Walling seemed to hit something on the track then. The back of the car bucked just a little bit, and he lost a little bit of ground. He comes the third, fourth, and fifth cars. Billy Reek, of course, is right at the tail end. There's two extremely good races going on. Right there goes Salou through the inside. Tanya Peacock goes up high. Paul Salou has nudged the nose in front. It's now Paul Salou in third place from Tanya Peacock. As I said, two completely separate races. Paul Salou in third place. Where are the leaders? They're still there with one car length separating the two. Peter Jacobson, the Victorian #1 from the Golden Valley, leads the Lismore drive, and the New South Wales #1 in Bob Walling. And they've been racing like that lap after lap after lap. And they've got a couple of slower cars to get through now. And look at this third and fourth car. Whoa, and I think one of them has trouble. Paul Salou has done it. Smoke come belching out of the back of the car, and Salou lost control. And he's not only lost third place, he has also lost fourth place. And I think he's got trouble with that car. Something definitely happened as they went round the corner. Where are we? There's, I've lost the leaders. We'll pick them up as they come past again. There's Salou. Here comes the leading car. I can hear the chief steward doing a lot of calling. I don't know what about. Jacobson, Walling. We seem to have lost a couple. Getting back there now to, here with the third car, Tanya Peacock. Lockie McClure will be in fourth place. Oh, trouble up there with Brady in the car behind him. Paul Salou, he's dropped right off the pace now. Ron Brady, there's the leader again, going past Billy Reek. I don't know how many times they've passed poor Billy the kid, but they've been through there a few times. Tanya, she's still in third place. She's not under any great pressure now. Martin Horson not on the placing. Back into the leaders, and it's Jacobson coming out of the corner again in front. Oh, he's throwing the car out. He knows there's one lap left to go. If Peter Jacobson can hang on for another lap, he's done it for 19 and a half laps. Can he do it for another half? Peter Jacobson in front, the Victorian #1. And it's Bob Walling right on his tail, and they're going to contend with some slower cars as they come over the line. And look at it go! What a finish! It's Peter Jacobson by about 2 feet from Bob Walling from New South Wales. And the third place getter, where are they? Tanya Peacock is in third place. And I think Lockie McClure in fourth. Well, boy, after 20 laps of racing, you cannot get a closer finish between the first and the second cars. I'm not sure who got fourth. Lockie McClure, I think, fourth, but fifth, I'll forget it after that. I've got no hope of remembering who came then. Well, what a finish. Bob Walling, a fantastic drive. Peter Jacobson, well, I guess you'll be pretty happy about that, mate. He had that little bit of a talk before. And he mentioned that his father died a couple of months ago, and he'll be extremely pleased with that win. Peter Jacobson, still the Victorian number one, and a fantastic second place to Bob Walling from New South Wales, the New South Wales number one. Well, what a race. What a race. It was a little bit hard watching the first and second and the third and fourth cars there. Paul Salou got himself into third position, and I'm not sure what happened, but there was a definite puff of smoke or steam out of the back of his car. He locked up and went sideways, and that lost him any chance of third or fourth position. Going very well. The local driver we hope to do well, Spider McCarthy, of course, once again only lasted half the race. In the Australian title he was black flagged, and this one it was a flat tyre after a bit of a skirmish. Well, there we go, Bob Walling, number 51. Tanya Peacock. Well, what a drive from a young lady. She's certainly shown some of these fellows how to handle a motor car on a racetrack. And that should give some of our lady drivers heart. As to taking out first, one last desperate effort he made as they crossed the finish line. Going to congratulate his co-driver, Tanya Peacock, an immaculate pair of cars and an immaculate pair of drivers. And Peter Jacobson, well, what can you say? Victoria number one last year, Victoria number one this year.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get the car on the track to do that. I got on the lane. Finally done this one. I'd like to thank you very much, and you had a birthday today as well. Thanks very much. And I'd like to thank one.
This is Mike, the Australian title. Nobody was quite sure what happened for the last half of lap. It was pretty definite what happened this time.
Is that you see down here, of course, have been made possible by the Victorian Speedway Council.
What happened here this weekend. Thanks very much.
The BP Inland Oil by their sponsors, and thanks once again. Tanya, is there something else you'd like to add, or we all get on before? Victorian Speedway Council, on that it reads, A-grade modified production sedan, state title of the Timmis Speedway Mildura, January 27 and 28, 1990. That's going to be a tremendous trophy for you to put on somewhere on the buffet. I imagine the way you drive around here, you must have at least one of those trophies at home. There we are, let's know, matches the colour of your car, Bob. You've got a red car, so you can have your red trophy. And congratulations once again, Bob Walling, on the second place getter in the Victorian Championship.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Tim Speedway for putting on the puppet man. I was down here 12 months ago and race. I think it's got good track tonight, good racing. Once again, thanks to my crew for all their efforts to getting back.
Okay. And the magnificent trophy, first place getter, the Victorian A Modified Production Sedan, state title, the Vic 1 plate, once again, goes to, I'll go to get Peter Jacobson. Thank you, Peter.
I'd like to thank the real top race. Once again, all the crew and everyone.
Declare I and to do that for the winners.